Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you are new to me, it's the first time you're seeing my face. Hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So I hope that's why you're here, because that's what's going to be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and the continued support. I really do appreciate it. So today for you, I have my weekly wrap up. This is week 18 and all my reading shenanigans in between. Week 18 takes place from April 30th to May 6th. But because I didn't actually do a weekly wrap up last week, I just did a book haul because I only completed one book. I will be going over the books that I read in week 17. And this is also my wrap up for the Mafia Romance Readathon. So it did kind of go into May 7th as well. So if we're getting particular and you guys keep track, there you go. I'm fully aware. So if you'd like to see what I've been up to this past week, grab yourself a drink, grab yourself a seat. Let's get talking some books. Okay. So I got a lot to talk about. You better want to get that seat. It's going to be a long one. Just a heads up. So the first book I have, I completed back in week 17, and this is Butterfly in Pain by Lucian Bane, and it looks like this. I gave this 4 stars, and there is a full book review up for it. I will link it up here in the corner for you guys. But a quick little rundown. I do recommend going and seeing that review. I go into full in-depth of everything I'm about to go through, but this is just a quick rundown. This is the second installment to the Royal Bastards MC series, the Newark, New Jersey chapter. We have multiple personality disorder, body integrity disorder, cytophilia, veracophilia. It's a very unique why choose component. We feature forced proximity, graphic sexual content with sadist and masochistic tendencies with body mutilation, voyeuristic and exhibitionism, and dominant and submissive play, graphic and violence, attempted sexual assault, and religious themes. So a lot of heavy-hitting triggers in this guy. This is a direct follow-up of the first one, which is Butterfly and Atlas. I also have a full book review on that, and I will link it in the corner in the down box below. So you want to go check that out as well. This installment, we feature, we're further developing all the plots that we reached in Butterfly and Atlas. So we're finding out how Butterfly is going to be incorporated with the MC, how her relationships are being formed with each of the characters, the personalities of our vessel. But we do find out a lot more about our vessel. We're starting to learn a little bit about how he came to be the way he became. We're getting some pieces to some puzzles. Bane does a really good job of setting up some puzzles in this. So this is definitely, you gotta read the first one to understand what the fuck's going on in the second one. But a few things that really worked in this installment for sure was the continuity of the previous installment. He did a really good job of giving you what you needed, so you didn't have to go back and reread that first installment to understand what's going on in this. But if you have not read that, you will not understand what's going on in this. So really nice balancing act with that. Further development of every single one of our plot lines. He does go into more detail on specific plot lines in this one. I mean, this one does heavily focus on 2 big plot points, but we do touch on all of the 5 that I counted in the first book. So that was really nice. And we got some serious building blocks of it. Not just little bits. I mean, we got some serious meat to them now. Loved Pain. Loved him. Fucking loved him. He called out Butterfly. Fan-fucking-tastic. That was a great fucking scene. We got a lot of really vulnerable and grit moments with these 2 in particular. The connectivity between Butterfly and Pain and some of the other characters was more stressed in this one. That is one of the heavier plot points, was these connectivity moments and building up the relationship, and we got them. We got good moments and we got bad moments because relationships are built off of both. And I thought it was fucking fantastic. I really, really enjoyed Pain's development in the story with Butterfly and just on his own in general. We got a lot more information about him, and for a hot fucking minute, he was my fave. And then, you know, Colt did some shit, and then I was like, never mind. That's how that goes. We did create this puzzle component. Bane does a really good job of giving us just enough details for this puzzle component that's developing, and it's fucking fire. I'm so excited to find out where this puzzle goes. Probably even more excited about this puzzle component than I am the romances, because it's so fucking weird and it's so intricate and it's so, oh god, it's like a fucking Rubik's Cube mixed with a jigsaw puzzle mixed with the game of Clue. It's a fucking trifecta, okay? It's awesome, and I was really glad that we got to build more up into that. What didn't work in this installment? There wasn't anything that didn't work with the new material in this installment, and I do go into this in my review. The new information that we were given, I had no issues with it all. I was intrigued. There's buzz. I'm excited with all the new stuff that we got. So I was really, really happy with that. I do go into comparing this installment to the previous installment of what didn't work with that one for me, and I go into in-depth in it there. So I won't do that here. But if you'd like to know if my opinions changed from the first installment, definitely go check it out. Because I had some pretty interesting things to say about the first installment. So it was really nice to see that comparison and that growth and that build up and see if my opinions change. So definitely go check out that review. This installment I did give a 3 chili peppers to. It wasn't as super spicy as the first one, but we got more fun times with the sexual component in this, which I had a really good time with. I saw joking, I saw messing around, I saw Butterfly teasing the guys, especially when they're in the diner. I saw this bitch eat, and where she puts the food, I don't even know, but I loved it. I love a bitch that can eat. I do. So I saw a lot more growth in the spice area as well. It wasn't as carnal. There was a lot more emotional backbone to this one. So I had a good time with this one. I'm very, very excited to continue with the third one, which is Butterfly and Augustine, which I will be doing a full book review on as well. The next book that I completed this week was, now this was carried over from week 17 and to week 18, and that was Noah by Jacqueline Frank, which I also gave 4 stars. This is the 5th installment to the Nightwalker series. I was reading this series for the Nightwalker read-along. I did not complete this one nor the last one by the live show, which I will link here for you guys, so you can go check it out. Yes, I was spoiled for them, but I didn't mind. Certain books I don't really care about spoilers on, and this was one of them. I was like, I was gonna read it anyway, so it's fine. But this one we feature a fated mate with an interspecies mating. Again, we have time travel, and we do feature child endangerment. So a little bit of a heavy hitting one on this one. This one follows Noah, our demon king, who, this is the one I was really looking forward to because he's a fire demon and I'm kind of a pyro. So, yeah, I was really, really looking forward to this one, and we get to meet Kestra. So his love interest is a character we've never even opened experience to, which was really, really fucking cool. And she's a badass in her own fucking right, which was awesome. But in our beginning of our story, Noah seeks out Corinne, who has been deemed kind of the matchmaker, because her power, when her druid powers opened up after she met Cain, which is Jacob's brother, we learn that she can help locate the mates for our demons. And so finally the Demon King says, I gotta do this. So he goes. And he's been dreaming about this girl with platinum white blonde hair. Like it's so blonde it's white. For about 6 months. And these dreams are pretty fucking hot. All right, they are. There's definite some interesting moments, just to say the least. They're pretty nice. And he can't tolerate the dreams anymore. So he goes to find her. And when he finds her, he learns of what's going to happen to her, and he sees it, and it sets him into a tailspin. So he does the unthinkable and changes time to go get her back. And that's where our story kicks the fuck off. What worked in this one? I loved the fact that Noah was the first guy to really go above and beyond to get his girl. And what I mean by that is, in all the previous installments, Frank has written this pull. Once they see their mate, this pull is so, you can't fight it. There's nothing on the planet that's going to stop you. No one's going to stop you. No one can hold you back. It's so powerful. It's so strong. It is literally like you need this person to breathe. It is so compelling. It's so overpowering. And in every single book, she writes it like this. But in every single book, up until this one, you don't really see the guys going, I mean, you see them go above and beyond, but not really. They just look really fucking horny, to be perfectly honest. That's what they look like. Except this guy. This guy literally does everything in his power to get her back. He goes back in time by endangering his best friend's daughter, the enforcer Jacob from the first book. Jacob, his daughter Leah, is the child of time. So we figure out that she can manipulate time, and he figures this out, sees it, and he uses her to get her back. I mean, he literally did not give a fuck and I loved it. I didn't like the fact he used a kid, but I liked the fact that finally Frank gave us, like, the ultimate, like, I don't care, this is how strong this fucking pull is. Because she was writing it to be so strong, but it wasn't really conveying it in the books. This one definitely conveyed it. Love that fact. I thought it was great. Because of this action with Leah, I really, really enjoyed that we got, now we do get to see Jacob and Isabella again pretty heavily in this book, because they are the enforcers, and, you know, Noah went a little crazy, little crazy, so he had to be enforced a little bit. But I really enjoyed Isabella's stance on this. Isabella was a human before her druid powers enacted after she met Jacob. And there is a line in this book where she's arguing with Jacob. She's not happy with him, and he doesn't really understand why. And she finally says, because I've had to adapt. I'm the one that's had to adapt to your fucking world. No one's had to adapt to me. I have to adapt to not having electricity anymore because the shit doesn't work around you people, which is fucking annoying, by the way. I've had to adapt my whole being that if something happens to you, it's going to happen to me. I've had to adapt all of this. And this man took my child, endangered her. I am not adapting to this. I'm not saying this is okay because it's fucking not. And she goes postal. And she does what a mother does. She becomes the mama fucking bear. And I loved it. I loved her reaction. I love the way she handled it. Did it make for a lot of drama in the book? Yes, it did. And it should have been. I would have been pissed off if she didn't fucking act like that. And I'm so glad that the author wrote her to be that way and then gave her that storyline and say, look, I'm tired of adapting to your world. I'm half human. You have to remember this. Like, yes, now I'm fucking immortal, but I still have humanity. You don't. I fucking do. And this is something that's important to us. You don't endanger children. And I really, really fucking like that that angle got brought in, and she made Noah fucking pay for it. She did. She made him pay for it, and I thought that was great. Kudos. I loved it. I loved Kestra as a heroine. She was a badass in of herself. She could handle her own. She kind of worked, before Noah got a hold of her, kind of worked on like just this side of legality. And she was very well trained. She was smart. She was independent. She could handle her own. And I really enjoyed it. And I liked how she used every weapon in her arsenal, including her sexuality. There's a few scenes where she literally plays the coy damsel in distress just to overpower the other person, to kind of take their guard down. I like that. I don't see that being weak. I see that being smart and using every tool in your arsenal. And she did it multiple times over. I thought it was fucking dope. I liked her as a character a lot. She was definitely worthy in my eyes of being the demon queen, for sure. Definitely enjoyed it a lot. What didn't work? This time travel component, because it carries over in Adam, which I have not read yet. I will be honest, I have not read that one yet. It's planned for this month at some point in time if I can get to it. I didn't really like it because, like, you've now messed with time. There's going to be retribution for this. And I didn't like that it wasn't immediate. I didn't see it immediately. Like, you fucked with time, okay? She's not supposed to be here anymore. She is not supposed to exist right now. So in the grand scheme of fate, you were yes, you have a fated mate, but you were never meant to find her. You were never meant to, at least in my eyes. So I didn't like the fact that that wasn't really brought to the forefront. It was just kind of like, this shit happens. Let's keep going. Like, what the fuck, man? You just fucking altered time. Yeah, shit's gonna fucking happen. And I didn't like the fact that I have to wait till Adam for really to see that time alteration continuation to follow through. I didn't like that. This, as much as I like this one, I gave this 4 stars. It definitely lacked staying power with me. It did. I had to go back and review my notes on it to remind myself to be able to know what to talk about it. It just kind of lacked its staying power with me. Which it could be the fact that I openly accept the spoilers, so I already knew it was coming. So I wasn't as so invested and on the edge of my seat by the end of the book. And that's probably the reason why. But for me, even the beginning parts kind of lacked its staying power a little bit for me. So spice rating, I give this a 2.5. There's a really cool element in this book for Chili Pepper's rating because Noah is the fire demon, okay? Fire demon. when he's banging her, he is burning her. And I thought that was, not that I'm a fan of that, but I thought it was really cool that they made that like kind of a side effect of their sex life. Jacob, the earth fucking moves, and we have earthquakes. Let's see, Elijah, you don't have clothes afterwards. Like, they're completely shredded because he just shreds them off of you. Damien, you get your blood sucked. End of fucking story. At least it's fucking enjoyable, okay? You do. Let's see, who else was there? Oh, I'm missing the other guy. Who is the other one? Oh, Gideon. Well, he's just stoic. He's just a very stoic person in general. Your eyes and demeanor changes color, but this fucker makes you literally burn, which literally gives the Jason Aldean song, Burning It Down, a whole new fucking meaning. So I thought that was really fun. I thought it was a good time, that was the element, and she felt very, very warm all the fucking time. I thought that was kind of cool, actually. That was a neat little twist. And again, Kester using her sexuality, there was a lot of scenes where she used it to get what she wanted or to maneuver the other person because she was able to read them so well. She realized that, like, this is all you fucking see, so I'm gonna play it. And is that spicy? No, but it is in the sexual category, so I wanted to mention it again because it is done really, really well. I had a really good time with that element, for sure. The next book I started and I'm still working on is Curse by Christina Maraziotis. I started this. I am still in the process of making my way through it. But what I can tell you right now is it is the second installment for the Love Letting series. There's a huge ass trigger page. Yet again, guys, huge ass trigger page. And I know she's going to use every single one of them and it's going to be done on point. I already know this because I do. It's just a gut feeling that they're going to be awesome. And this does pick up a few weeks after the end of Haunt, which is directly behind me. So that's all I have to really say about this one. But, well, I have one other thing. 30 pages in it. This bitch has already ripped my heart out once. 30 pages. 30 pages. My heart has been ripped out and I've already cried. 30 pages. And this book's like 800 pages. I feel like I need to have like a plate made and just like every time my heart gets ripped out, like just here's the plate with my heart. Just fucking take it. All right. Or just take it and don't give it back to me at the end of the book because I don't want it ripped out anymore and shoved back in my face. But yeah, no, I'm going to have a great fucking time with this one. I already know. Very much looking forward to picking it back up and getting into it. But there is a reason that I stopped reading it because we had the Mafia Romance Readathon this past weekend. This was my bingo board for the Mafia Romance Readathon. This is all the prompts that I chose. I was only able to complete 2 books of my TBR, but I plan on reading the other books the rest of this month anyway, so you're gonna see them. But this is what my completed TBR, my completed bingo board looks like. So not as pretty as it could have been, I know, but still very, very pretty. So let's talk about the books that I read for the Mafia Romance Readathon. The first book I completed was Beyond Measure by Jane Henry. This is the second installment to the Ruthless Doms series. So we have Bratva Mafia Romance, and this features arranged marriage. We do have a slight miscommunication trope. It's very, very minor, and it does get resolved, but I just want to make it aware because some people are very particular about miscommunication tropes. We do feature graphic sexual situations with BDSM scenes featuring spankings, edging, sadomasochistic tendencies, and we do have some dirty talk in this, which I enjoyed. I enjoyed the dirty talk. It was not overly excessive, but there could have been more. So it was kind of in the middle. It's kind of in the middle. We do feature sexual assault, not on page, but we do have a graphic retelling of what happened. And we do feature verbal abuse and physical abuse on page towards our heroine, not by our hero. And we do also have victim shaming and victim blaming in this as well as some triggers. So this follows Tomas, who is the pecan of the Boston Bratva Mafia chapter, and he is advised by his second-in-command, Nikolai, who we meet in Priceless, which is the first installment to Ruthless Doms, that his demeanor might soften a little bit. He might have more clear thoughts, less, you know, a grumpy ass if he got married. And Tomas delves this plan because there is the San Diego Bratva Mafia. Their pecan owes him money. Aaron owes him money. And so he makes a deal with him to take his sister as a bride. Arranged marriage is very common in the Bratva Mafia, so he doesn't think anything of it. She's already in the life. It's fine. It'll work. However, what he doesn't realize is that Caroline, Aaron's sister, is treated like fucking shit by her brother. Her brother pretty much hates her, and his men have abused her and hurt her in many different ways. And when she came clean about it and tried to tell her brother about it, he didn't fucking believe her because he's a douche. So this arranged marriage gets her away from them, but in her mind, she's just basically like cattle at this point because Aaron uses her to pay off his debt to Tomas. Once they are married, that's when our story really kicks off, and we find out that even though Aaron was super ecstatic to get rid of his sister because he thought she was useless and she was ugly and pathetic and just kind of a waste of fucking space, his man did not think that. So we have that ploy coming in as well in this story, and that's when our story really kicks off, is once the marriage happens and we find out that he's not going to just let her go that easily. What worked? Tomas's loyalty to Caroline right off the fucking bat. I mean, right off the bat, he's loyal. He doesn't love her, but he is loyal to her, and he wants to protect her immediately right off the bat, because he makes it very clear to say that in the very beginning that he's not really a big fan of super skinny girls because he likes to fuck very, very hard, and they just can't take it. And when he sees Caroline, she is a little bit of a curvy, thicker girl. And he loves this fact. He loves it. She thinks he's going to hate it, which starts our kind of miscommunication. These are the types of miscommunications. It's just, he likes her, but she doesn't have the confidence in who she is, and she happens to be everything that he needs and wants, but she doesn't believe that a guy of his power or his standing would want something like that. He would want something skinny and demure and all that other bullshit. And it's not. It's not what he wants. He wants a thick, curvy girl that can take it. And he knows how to give it pretty well, actually. It's pretty nice. But yes, his loyalty to her right off the bat. I mean, there was no question. She's my wife. You treat her with respect. End of fucking story. He didn't treat her like a commodity, like she thought she was going to be treated. He, yes, basically paid for her. She was the cancellation of a debt, but he didn't treat her as like that. Yes, she was still property of him, but he never really treated her like that. He treated her not as an equal, but as you are the highest of your degree and you're going to be respected for it. I love that Caroline fought back. She immediately went on the defense and she tried to protect herself. She didn't do the best of job because he did overpower her, but she didn't go without a fight. When she got there, she definitely tried to hold her own. She tried to stand up for herself. She tried to vocalize her feelings and things of that nature. So I love the fact that she definitely tried and we got to see it from her. Did it work? No. But I love the fight that Jane Henry gave her in the beginning. I thought that was, I really did appreciate that. Tomas's dominance was fucking on point in this. It was amazing. He was so dominant but calm at the same time. Like nothing really rattled him that she did. Even when she kind of went into some kind of brattish behavior, because we do see some brat scenes. And he just like, okay, throw your fit. We'll deal with it later. Keep talking. Okay. It just, so like that quiet dominance that you're just like, damn it, I'm gonna get owned for this. Shit. Because he never let anything really rattle him in regards to her. And I thought that was really, really cool. I loved how just 100% he was. It was never, he never had to turn it off and turn it back on. It just was a constant. But it wasn't a constant that was shoved down your throat and it kind of pissed you off. It was just a very balanced constant of his dominance throughout the book. And it was the entire way through. He never really wavered in it. And I really, really enjoyed that, because a lot of times in BDSM books, you will see a moment where the dom will start to waver and think, is this really a good idea? For some stupid reason, I don't know why they do that, but you'll start seeing, I didn't see it with him. He just was like, nope, this is how I am. I'm not changing, and I'm going to treat you like a queen, but you're still going to obey me. End of story. Now, go in the bedroom. Thank you. You know, it was just very like succinct and very to the point. Like, I got shit to do, and now you're part of my shit to do. Let's go. Let's go. But he was still very caring and supportive of her, and very, very giving in all of the scenes. He didn't hold back anything from her. It was just really funny because edging is seriously featured in this book. So him holding back was still giving to her in a very backwards kind of way, if you understand what edging is. So yeah, it was a good time for him. I really enjoyed the sexualized healing through this book because of the past sexual assault, which you do learn about. You see her start to grow through this subservience and this submission that he is not forcing her, but he is gradually pushing her towards. He never just forces her to her knees. He basically talks her to her knees and talks her into this submission. And I thought it was really, really cool the way he did it. So, and then through these sexualized, these dominant scenes, you start seeing her start to really open up and remember who she was before all the actual abuse that she received. The abuse starts to get turned into something of the past, and sex becomes something that she enjoys and she likes. It's no longer something that she hates and she fears. She actually welcomes it and wants it. And it's because of the way he is with her through his dominance, how he's kind of guiding her to that through her traumas and how he does it. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was nicely done. What didn't work? There was an obvious ending to this, and I'm not talking about the HEA. I'm talking about when we get to the third act incident, it's very obvious what's going on. So the power impact of the revelation of it was kind of lost on me because it was very, very obvious. She didn't really do a good job of hiding it and kind of subverting your eyes somewhere else. So you have this big twist element at the end. So the shock value was kind of lost on me. And I do find that with Jane Henry, her endings either wrap up too nicely or they're very obvious. But sometimes that's okay. It's just kind of her thing, and I've just kind of grown to expect it from her books. So I wasn't really upset about it, but I do want to admit that the third act incident definitely gives away what's going to happen. For sure. There is a component, she does not want to have kids. Caroline is not about wanting kids at all. Like, she's adamant. She's fucking adamant about it. And then after the big, huge climactic ending, all of a sudden she's like, yeah, I'm cool. Let's do it. What? No, you do not change that fucking, that mental state in a fucking day. You don't change that shit in a day, okay? Especially when you're so adamant about it. And the reason that was given is like, I think it's a better place now. There's still fucking douchebags and assholes out there. Like, what? I could have dealt with never knowing that part. Like, we could have gone to the epilogue and then she ended up getting pregnant. I wouldn't fine with that. But the actual conversation of like, I'm ready to have kids now, let's do this. What? Really? Okay. Party. All right, cool. I didn't feel like I needed to be there. Plain and simple. And there was this one thing in this book, and I've never seen this in her books. And I've read, this is the fifth Jane Henry book I've read so far. In this book, there was this constant internal monologue of explaining why her submission and this is through Caroline's perspective, why her submission was okay. It almost felt like Henry was trying to justify that submitting was okay. And I didn't like that because I thought it was stupid. I'm reading a BDSM novel. I'm fully aware of what I'm getting. You don't have to fucking justify it to me. You don't. At the fuck all. The title series is called Ruthless Doms. I know what I'm getting into. And I didn't like this. Every once in a while, I understand in books because it's the process of the character. But when I mean, it was almost every internal monologue of during her sex scenes, this realization that submission is okay and this is acceptable and I'm being treated nicely, and all, it got to be kind of preachy. And I'm like, why are you trying to justify this to me? I'm already fucking okay with this, lady. I'm fine. Just let's go. Super sexy fun time. Let's go. I'm down for it. I understand that she's okay with it now. And I feel like she was doing it because of the sexual assault in the past, because she has the character say, I don't like sex. So this is her way of kind of accepting it. Like, this is her acceptance of it. But it wasn't sex. She kept saying submission. If it had been sex, it would have been a whole nother fucking ballgame. But she kept saying, I'm being taken care of with this. I know this means he loves. I'm like, what? Yeah, it does. He does love you. He's already said that. Like, he's already fucking said it. I don't need to justify it anymore. It just got to be too much justification. I can handle a little bit. I don't need it every fucking sex scene. I just don't. I already know that's justifiable because you do you. Whatever floats your damn boat, as long as it's consensual, smooth the fuck on. Let's go. Super sexy fun times, guys. Horny bitch here. Let's go. I don't need to know that. Let's go. So, spice rating. I did give this a 3 chili peppers because we do have a lot of BDSM scenes, a lot of sexualized spankings. That was a very heavy thing. She does spankings a lot. That is a thing for Jane Henry. Damn near every single book, spankings is a prominent tool, a very prominent submissive tool that her doms tend to use. They don't really use a lot of other stuff. I thought it was really cool that Tomas used the edging technique within the spankings, which I thought was fucking dope. But spankings are very heavily featured in her books. But when I mean edging, I mean, we're edging like a motherfucker, okay? Almost every sex scene became an edge scene. And I was like, oh, damn it. This book was an edge book, guys, okay? It was. If you're into edging, on power. If you're not familiar with edging, that is when you bring your partner to the point of climax and then you stop. And then you basically restart over again. And again. And again. And again. And again. And again. Until they physically, it's almost to the point where it's physically painful. And then the orgasm is let loose. And it's extremely intense. And this bitch gets edged to like within an inch of her life. Majority of this book. Like over and over and over again. It was a constant thread. Tomas really enjoyed that power dynamic, having control of her orgasms, which I really enjoyed that in this installment because I hadn't seen it used to the degree in her books as I did in this one. So I enjoyed that a lot. So if you're looking for edging Rex, here you go. Very big on delayed gratification, which I'm always a big fan of delayed gratification. I think that's awesome, and that has to do with the edging. Very, very heavy into it. We got to see use of some unique toys. We saw a lace mask for sensory deprivation, which is always a good time. We got to see nipples, clamps, anal plugs, and flogging all together in the same fucking scene. So, I mean, picturing this image, it was stunning. The way it was written, I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking pretty. I love it. I love this. I love it. Give it to me. That sex scene was fucking dope. But that sex scene was definitely a benefit for the dom side. That was not really healing her, that was healing him. So we got to see dualized healing and how he used her to help exercise his demons and his anger and his frustrations in a sexualized kind of way. It was a very, very nice scene. It was a very, very good scene. It was a very, very hot scene. Very great fucking time. And we do have some pretty good dirty talk in this as well. Not overly excessive, but it was decent. It wasn't bad. Had a good time with it. The next and final book that I read for the Mafia Romance Marathon, as I said, you know, I only got 2 of my TBR, was JT Giessinger's Carnal Urges. This is 5 stars. This thing is fucking dope. let's just gush about this one for a little bit. Okay, guys, let's just gush. So, second installment of the Queens and Monsters series, and you do have to read Ruthless Creatures to understand this book. I knew that it carried over, but you really have to read that installment to understand the setup for the plot line in this one and for the twist with this one that we have towards the end. So, definitely a continuation style series for sure. Another Mafia romance. This is Irish Mafia. Captor Captive, we have BDSM with emphasis on dominant language for sure. And we do have some off-page descriptions of Mafia-style violence, murder to be specific. So, direct follow-up of Ruthless Creatures. If you have not read Ruthless Creatures, this is going to be a bit of a spoiler, but our character of Sloane, who is Natalie's best friend, she does get kidnapped in the end of Ruthless Creatures, which starts off this book because Jacquelyn, our hero, is the guy that kidnaps her. And en route to taking her to speak to his boss, he finds out that his boss has been disposed of, which bumps him up to being the head guy in charge of his mafia sect. And after this promotion, just this back and forth, ripping on each other kind of relationship happens. Yes, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this book, but damn, the fucking banter between these two is, it's what this book is, and it's fucking awesome. It is so good. Yes, there is a subversive plot going through this entire story, but the banter between these two, that's what you're here for. Sloane and Jacquelyn firing back at your left and right. Sloane one-upping Jacquelyn, making all of his guys fall in love with her. Jacquelyn just slamming her left, right, 7 ways to Sunday, making her see, you know, kind of her own hypocrisy sometimes. And just, oh, the way she annoys him. I just am so fucking envious of her. I'm just, man, she's my spirit animal. She is. She's my person. I just love her so much. And then we get so many twists and turns with this other plot of the kind of the series plot. We get more development of the series plot for this. And we really get to see some twists and turns with Jacquelyn. And then we get to revisit Casimir and Natalie from Ruthless Creatures. We get an appearance by them as well, which was fucking awesome. It was so nice to see them again. It was so nice. But yeah, this was a fucking ride and I had such a good time with it. What worked? Sloane and Jacquelyn's chemistry right off the fucking bat. Not only do we have our physical chemistry because the way that they're described, you know that they're going to be hot for each other, the way they're looking at each other, but the fucking chemistry they have together, you know, this banter back and forth, just snide comments, left, right, 7 ways to Sunday. God, was it fucking great. Sloane with her fucking one-liners. I could not get enough of this bitch. I could not. And just Jacquelyn's demeanor towards her is like, seriously? You're still talking? Oh my, really? I'm picturing you in hell, but you know, I'd be joining you, so off, you know. Oh my God, it was fucking great. I loved it. Sloane and Jacquelyn together, fucking fire. Them separate, even fucking better. Like, Sloane could carry this book by her fucking self because Sloane's fucking awesome. I loved her confidence, her backbone, her snide commentary, her intelligence, her want to please, and her want to one-up at the same time. Oh my God, I fucking loved it. Jacquelyn, just his whole demeanor, the way he handled her, the way he carried himself, his, you know, I'm not gonna let you get on my skin, but you can snowball everybody else, but you're not gonna snowball me, but you know it's fucking happening. And just, oh God, he was fucking great. And even when he slammed her a few times, it was fucking phenomenal. He did it so well. And his little fucking unique little stories, like the camel story, I fucking loved it. It was so good. It was so good. I loved their chemistry and their relationship and how it kind of bloomed because it was just so comical and so much fun. JT Giessinger in Ruthless Creatures floored me with some of her banter back and forth with Nat and Cage. She excelled with Jacquelyn and Sloane. I mean, she went above and beyond. It was fucking great. I wouldn't change a damn thing about their banter, chemistry, anything. They were perfect, spot on, tit for tat, fucking great. The plot lines and the twists that I didn't see coming with this installment. I did not see this being a series that had like a continuation plot. I knew we would have kind of some carryovers, but I didn't see like a continuation plot, and I am down for it. This thing looks fucking dope, and that twist ending, holy shit, I am so down for it. I want it. Yeah, that's gonna be dope. I have no idea what's gonna happen. As long as Sloane and Declan stay together, that's all I fucking give a crap about. Like, I need them in my life. Like, they need to be a permanent in my world. They do. They're just permanent features in my world now. I love the tiebacks to the first installment. At no point in time in this book did I have to go back to the previous installment to find out what they were talking about. So Sloane is being accused of starting this war. And the amount that JT Giessinger gave us of the previous installment, the instance that they're talking about, I didn't have to go back and reread them. I got just enough to be reminded of all of those instances and all of those things. And I was like, yes, very important for me in sequels, that continuity factor, because I don't want to have to stop and read your book to go read something else, to remember shit. Really, really enjoyed that a lot. I already talked about the banter and the shit talking. This stuff was fucking fire. This was one reason I love this so much is because Declan's banter and shit talking and one-upping reminded me so much of my husband. It wasn't even funny. Like, some of the lines in this book, my husband has said to me, okay? And I'm like, shit. It's great. If you know anything about me and my husband, we joke back and forth, and I love pestering the fucking shit out of him. I do. And he enjoys it too. So I was very nice to see Sloane just pestering this man and like just ribbing him left, right, Sunday till Sunday, and then him firing back and like shutting her down. It was so reminiscent of mine and my husband's relationship when it comes to the banter that I just fucking loved it. It was so much fun. So great. So great. I fucking loved it. And the build up for that first sex scene, the tension this woman can create. I was tingling by that sex scene. I was like, I fucking need this. I need it now. Please give it to me. Please. Because I cannot handle this fucking tension any fucking more. I need it. I need it. I'm about to cry if you don't give it to me, because I would need it so bad. It was so good. All of her sex scenes were great, but that tension she built up for that very first one, oh, it was divine. What didn't work? That's a fucking stupid question. I didn't find a damn thing wrong with this book. I love this book. I thought it was great. This thing was an easy 5 stars. I was loving it in 30 pages in. I loved it at the very end of the book. I sat and read predominantly most of this because I didn't do any reading on Saturday. I had a wedding, and I predominantly read most of it on Sunday, and I could not. I just kept turning and turning and turning and turning. I couldn't put it down because there was so much good stuff in it. I had such a great fucking time with this one. Yeah, this was fire. Spice scale, I give it 3.75 chili peppers. The buildup I already talked about. Her tension for that first sex scene was fucking fire. I'm not kidding you when I say that it was so well done. The tension she built between these two was just palpable. Like, I could feel it. And I'm not even in the book, but I felt it. And I wanted to continue feeling it, and I did throughout the book. Like, that tension, even though it gets relieved at that first sex scene, it gets rebuilt up for the next one, and the next one, and the next one. This bitch is just like a tension-building machine, and it was fucking awesome, and I loved it. Oh my God, it was so good. I loved Declan's dominance. I loved it because you knew it was there. And I like I said, Tomas, he was a constant 100% through. But I also really enjoy the character that can turn it on and turn it off. And Declan can turn it on, turn it off. And it's fucking great. Like, I mean, it's like that. Instantaneous. And he had the voice. And I read this. I didn't listen to this on audio. And everyone tells me I need to really listen to the audiobook. So I definitely plan on picking it up. Don't worry. I plan on it because I want to hear these lines. I want to hear how they're saying. Because in my head, they're fucking dope. And, yeah, his dominance was just on point. The way he manipulated the situations with just his tonal quality and the words he chose to use and the questions he chose to ask and kind of guiding the whole scenarios and questions. It was on point. It was perfect. And I was just like, yes. And when he got into his dominant, like, state, his, like, the intensity that was given to him was, you could hear a pin drop. Like, there was nothing around me. I wasn't paying attention to anything else except what he was saying in these scenes to Sloane. It was just, I was there with him. And it was just, oh. So many moments in this book, if you came and stopped me while I was reading it, I would have told you to fuck off. So many moments. So many. Were great. I loved it. I love the fact that he earned her submission. There was a very big moment where we really see him earn her submission and earn her trust. But it's not a clear-cut moment. There's a scene where you know that she trusts him, which is a big deal for him because he wants her to say it and she's never going to say it. But there's a scene where it's clear that she trusts him and how she feels. And it's in that moment that you know that he's earned every bit of the submission that she's given. And the submission that she gives afterward, speechless. It was fucking great. It was fucking great. I love that aspect because that's not something you just freely give. It's something that's earned, and Jacqueline fucking earned it. He earned it physically, he earned it mentally, and he earned it emotionally, and you saw all three components in this story. You saw him earn it on each fucking level, and it was dope. It was dope. And she didn't even realize that he was earning it until that moment, and it was just like, yep, here we go. Party, it's on. This is great. This is a constant now. They need to always be there. They can never not be. They are one and the same now. They can never not exist in my world anymore. I really liked their sex scenes, and I liked what Jacqueline did. He did this really cool spankings, and then he would flip her to do an oral component, and then he'd flip her back to spankings, and it's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I just thought that was a really cool fucking scene. I was like, I need to put this in the book. I need to put this in the book to try one day because that's fucking dope. And I love this. I think that's great. Like this, again, build up. This bitch can build up this tension and these, like, oh God, it was just, it was just fucking fantastic. And then we have obviously the don't come until I give you permission scene throughout them. And when you throw this spanking, oral spanking, like back and forth component with the internal monologues and the dirty talk that they're giving each other and the commands he's telling her to say, and then this final command of like, you can't come until I tell you to, and then it finally happens. It's just, it was great, and I loved it. I loved every fucking second of it. It was fucking fantastic. I loved it. This thing got 5 stars for me, and there's a reason he's Daddy Jacqueline, and he's gonna be, because he's fucking daddy. End of fucking story. End of story. He's permanent feature. Permanent feature. That's what I read this week, guys. So now I'm going to go to my community tab because we do have, I did post a community tab of what kind of video you guys would like to see from me this month, and now we're gonna find out because I have not looked at all. So we're gonna find out what you guys would like to see from me this month. So the choices were book soundtrack, books recommended to you based off songs, All About Yes, books with great consent, Talk Dirty to Me, books with super sexy, fun, dirty talk, and then They Are Your Friend, Not Your Enemy, books that feature sex toys. And the winner with 52% of the votes is Talk Dirty to Me, books with super sexy, fun, dirty talk. So you guys will see a book recommendation video for me on dirty talk books at some point in time this month, which I do love a good dirty talk book. So I'm excited about that one. This is gonna be good. Yeah, because I got some good ones. So that's all I got for you guys this week. I will see you guys all soon with another video. Bye, guys.